Hello everyone, Jeff with the Green Review here. The methods used in integrated pest management have been around for as long as gardening has been around. The term IPM, or Integrated Pest Management, was coined in the 1950s in California. The word integrated means to incorporate separate compatible parts to form a unified whole. The pest can be anything that harms people, their animals, crops, or property. It could include such diverse things as bacteria, birds, clams, elephants, fungi, insects, snails, rats, viruses, and weeds. Lastly, we try to manage the whole program for safe, economical, and long-term pest control. IPM was developed as a response to the old method of broad-scale and almost continuous use of insecticides on many farm crops. IPM is now used on farms, landscapes, schools, and commercial properties. In an IPM system, environmentally and economically sound decision-making comes first instead of knee-jerk reaction spraying. Pests are only controlled if necessary, and other control methods are considered before using pesticides as a last resort. These control methods can be using pest-resistant varieties up front, changes in cultural practices, or using natural predators and parasites. Safer kinds of pesticides are considered first, and reduced pesticide amounts are used to lessen the chance of pests developing resistance. This all differs from programs that ban the use of pesticides, which are allowed using IPM, and it differs from organic programs that require the use of organic pesticides. Most homeowners begin searching for the cause of plant problems after they're obvious. Incorrect identification of the cause can result in useless pest control methods and wasteful, unsafe pesticide use. I can't tell you how often I've found that someone is using an insecticide on a problem plant that has no insects harming it in the first place. By waiting until disaster strikes, gardeners often need both short-term help and then a long-term IPM solution. The first step to a good IPM program is monitoring. If it's done often enough, the pest will be noticed at a low enough level to allow inexpensive, effective, and safe control. In fact, knowing what pests may occur and when they may occur allows for some pests to be predicted before their infestation. Remember back in the plants and environment chapter, we talked about how many of the ecosystem parts have growth cycles based on temperature. Many pests need to infect or infest a plant or animal at the time the host is most vulnerable. The pest and the host must have intersecting life cycles based on temperature. So early in the spring, if you're looking at your plants, you can see what the health of the flower buds are and the leaf buds to see if there's been any winter damage. And that way you'll know in advance whether the problem you're looking at was a weather-related environmental problem or as an insect or disease problem, because you know what the healthy plant looks like even without leaves. You know what the healthy buds are. So year-round monitoring is important. At the same time we're monitoring our plants for pests, we can pay attention to plants that are called indicator plants. They do something obvious, such as blooming at the same time and temperature that the insect or disease pest is attacking the host plant. The indicator plant has nothing to do with the pest or host, but is blooming at the same time by coincidence. The indicator plant is much more obvious, and it reminds us that it's time to take a look at our plants to see if they have a pest problem. Donald Orton's book, Coincide, lists many indicator plants and the pests they coincide with. The first thing that needs to be done after noticing a problem is to determine the cause of the problem. Very often, people mistakenly identify symptoms caused by weather as disease or insect problems. So they start spraying. If it's determined that a problem is caused by a pest, then we need to decide if the pest is still causing damage, and it's even there still, and if the damage is tolerable, or whether it'll become worse. The tolerable damage threshold level varies with the pest, the crop being damaged, the location of the crop, and who is making the determination. Finding pests before they've created disaster allows you to determine if there's a threshold level that must be met before controls are needed. In many cases, the level is much higher than finding just one or two holes in a leaf. For instance, finding just one grub in the lawn puts many people into a panic, partly because they hear the radio and TV hype promoting pesticides for grub control. According to the Extension Service, if the population of grubs is above 10 in an area the size of a sheet of notebook paper, pesticides may be warranted. But if there's just a few in that size area, nothing needs to be done because that few won't do enough damage to harm the lawn. Unfortunately, finding 10 in a whole yard will cause many people to start panic spraying. A pest threshold of only 1 may be the case if the pest is a heron eating fish out of your goldfish pond, or if it's a cockroach or a mouse found in the kitchen. The same pest may get a different threshold depending on who is monitoring, the type of damage it might do. Damage threshold levels may change with different stages of plant development as well. What's all this mean to me? Go outside and enjoy your landscape. Walk through it at least once a week all year long. The only way to know if a plant is beginning to get a problem is to know what it looks like when it doesn't have a problem. If you're interested in predicting pest problems, buy a copy of Donald Orton's book, Coincide. It's been available at laborofloveconservatory.com, but sometimes it's not available there, so you just have to keep trying to see if you can find a source for it. It's been out of print for a while. There's 2 versions, and if you can get the second version, great, but if you can only get the first version, just do it because it's a really awesome book. The study of seasonal natural phenomena is called phenology. The USA National Phenology Network is always looking for volunteers to help keep track of natural phenomena. Their website is usanpn.org. And this is Jeff with the Green Review. Thanks for watching.